Hello and welcome to Crisp Concepts, where complex ideas become clear and simple.
We all like to think of ourselves as independent thinkers, right? That our decisions are our own. But what if I told you that just by being in a group, our brains can get, well, hijacked, turned into a single, sometimes flawed mind? Today, we're going to explore that invisible force.
Think about this for a second. You're in a meeting, an idea pops into your head, but then you stop. You just bite your tongue. Maybe you were worried about rocking the boat or being that one person who disagrees. We've all been there. That exact moment, that decision to stay quiet, that's the doorway into a really powerful psychological trap. And that trap, it has a name, groupthink. It was coined back in the 70s by a social psychologist named Irving Janis. And it's basically what happens when our need to get along, our desire for harmony, completely overrides our ability to think straight. We end up taking this mental shortcut just to keep the peace. But sometimes that shortcut leads the whole group right off a cliff. And I mean that almost literally. This isn't just about some awkward meeting where you end up ordering the wrong pizza. Nope. Groupthink has been a silent partner in some of history's biggest, most catastrophic failures.
Just look at the timeline. At Pearl Harbor, there were clear warnings of an attack, but they were explained away. Fast forward to the Bay of Pigs invasion, a flawed plan where critical doubts were completely silenced. And then decades later, it happened again, when NASA managers pushed aside engineers' warnings, which led directly to the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. These are three totally different events, with one scary thing in common, a culture of conformity that just paved the way for catastrophe.
So how can you spot this trap in your own life? Well, it has some pretty clear warning signs. There's this feeling that your group can't possibly fail, a belief that you're the good guys, and a really powerful, unspoken pressure to just go along. People start censoring themselves, and you get these mind guards who pop up to protect the group from any bad news. If this checklist is starting to sound a little too familiar, you might just be in a groupthink bubble.
So what makes this trap so powerful? It's not just about peer pressure. Groupthink actually taps into these deep, hidden biases, these mental shortcuts our brains use all day, every day, and it just cranks the volume up to a dangerous level. It all starts with something called confirmation bias. Think of it like your brain's own personal search filter. It's constantly looking for information that proves you're right, and it pretty much ignores anything that suggests you might be wrong. Now imagine you put a whole group of people together. All of their filters can lock into place, creating this massive feedback loop that shuts out any new ideas.
And it gets even stronger when you throw in motivated reasoning, which is basically our brain's emotional bodyguard. We welcome facts that make us feel good, no questions asked. But information that challenges us, that's treated like an attacker that needs to be taken down. It's why sometimes even overwhelming evidence just doesn't change people's minds, especially when a group's identity is on the line.
And the engine that drives all of this is cognitive dissonance. That's that uncomfortable, jarring feeling you get when a new fact clashes with something you really believe. Our brains hate that feeling. And to make it stop, we'll do almost anything. Ignore the evidence, make up excuses, or just fall in line with everyone else because, let's be honest, conformity feels so much better than doubt. Okay, so these biases have been around forever, but now they've found the ultimate amplifier, the internet. Our social media feeds have become the perfect digital petri dish for groupthink, creating these little enclosed worlds we call echo chambers.
So what is an echo chamber? It's pretty much what it sounds like. A closed system where your own beliefs are just reflected back at you over and over and over. It's groupthink on a massive scale. Instead of a dozen people in a room, you're surrounded by millions of voices, all saying the exact same thing.
But we need to make a really important distinction here. Sometimes you're just in an epistemic bubble. That's when you just haven't been exposed to other views yet. And those are pretty easy to pop. You just need new information. An echo chamber, though, that is way more dangerous. It's not that outside views are just missing, they're actively shut down and discredited. Escaping an echo chamber isn't about finding new facts, it's about rebuilding trust in the very people you've been taught to hate. And technology has become the master architect of these traps. I'm talking about social media algorithms. They're designed to keep you scrolling, so they learn what you like, and they just feed you more and more of it. They build this personalized filter bubble around you, automatically and invisibly reinforcing your echo chamber. It's basically groupthink by algorithm. Okay, I know this all sounds pretty bleak, But here's the good news. We are not powerless. Once you understand how the trap works, you can start to build the tools to dismantle it. So let's open up the escape toolkit. If you're in a team, you can actually design a better process. Send out the agenda ahead of time so people can think, ask everyone to contribute, and let them do it in different ways. Some of the best ideas come in writing, not from the loudest person in the room. And here's a big one. Make dissent part of the plan. Formally assign someone to be the devil's advocate and challenge every assumption. Oh, and no matter how good the plan seems, always, always have a plan B. Now for those bigger, tougher disagreements with family or friends or in your community, the approach has to be a little different. You've got to let go of the idea of winning. Instead, aim for understanding. Share your story, not just your data. Ask questions because you're actually curious, not to set a trap. Acknowledge that emotions are a huge part of this, and just search for that tiny little sliver of common ground you can build on. You know, all of these strategies and tools, they're all built on one single powerful idea: intellectual humility. It's the simple but profound recognition that you might be wrong. It's having the quiet confidence to admit that you don't know everything, and it may be, just maybe, other people see something you've missed. I mean, just feel the difference here. The difference between asking, "How can you possibly think that?" versus asking, "Can you tell me more about what led you to this view?" The first one is a judgment. It ends the conversation. The second one, that's an invitation. It's what starts a real conversation. That simple shift changes everything. Which leaves us with one final, and maybe the most important question. After you've done all the listening and you've practiced humility, what if you are absolutely certain the group is still heading for that cliff? What if you are right and they are wrong? Having the courage to stand alone in that moment, to be that one dissenting voice, that isn't just about fighting groupthink. It's the very essence of leadership. And that is a thought worth pondering.